you very much. Oh, I enjoyed that. Let's hear it for Commissioner Oettinger, the German Commissioner in charge of the European Union budget. You, sir, are having a very good day. Christmas has come early. You must be delighted. The British government is going to shell out a cool 50 billion as part of our exit proceedings, which, if you think about it, is all really rather odd, isn't it? Because the 23rd of June 2016 wasn't just significant politically, it was significant for the European Union budget. We've been a net contributor into the EU budget every single year since 1973. For most of those years, we've been the second biggest contributor, and we pay in 16% of the total European Union budget. But of course, we're leaving. So logic says, if, for example, a family has an annual income and that income declines, they then have cheaper holidays. They then cut their cloth according to their circumstances. And yet, when we look at the 2018 budget or the Commission projections going on for the next few years, we see that absolutely no account is being taken of the British leaving the European Union. You've decided to simply carry on regardless, and it would appear that in a very weak moment, the British Prime Minister has decided to bail you out for it. Well, I would just say, don't bank on it, because I think there is going to be a huge public reaction to this extraordinary sum of money. Honestly, I do. I think there is a real prospect of there being a big rebellion within the Conservative Party against their own leader. So don't think this is absolutely guaranteed. And certainly the line that I've always taken is that no deal is better than a bad deal. And in this case, it's worse than a bad deal because we don't even know if we're going to get a trade deal in return. Even if there was a firm offer of tariff-free access to the EU single market, it would not be worth the 50 billion payment. So celebrate for today, Commissioner, but I promise you, it's not in the bag.
Mr Farage, there is a blue card request from Mr Mureşan, our rapporteur. Do you accept? Please, Mr Mureşan.
Thank you very much, Mr Farage, for accepting this blue card. Mr Farage, for sure, the challenges that the UK budget is facing for next year are much bigger than the challenges that the EU budget is facing for next year. Your revenues are going down, your growth perspective is worsening, investments will be at a slower level in the United Kingdom next year, not in Europe. The question which I would like to ask you is, are you aware we have increased budget of the Union for next year primarily for research and innovation? Are you aware how much UK universities are benefiting from this? And are you aware who is the biggest beneficiary, which country is the biggest beneficiary of EU research funds? Thank you very much.
The fact that the Office of Budget Responsibility is giving a bearish prognosis for the UK economy doesn't necessarily mean that they're right. You know, we had lots of people, lots of big organisations telling us that if we didn't join the euro, we were headed for ruin, and thank God we didn't do it. Yes, I am aware of the extent to which our money, recycled through the European Union, comes back to British universities. And some of it comes back to be very well spent in research. And I acknowledge that, and I understand that. But equally, much of it comes back to fund things like Jean Monnet professorships in British universities to teach a completely slanted, distorted view of history. We'd rather spend the money ourselves. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I think for clarification, the House would agree that the United Kingdom is still a full member of the European Union and remains so until the end of March 2020.